Let's form Voltron. What's up, everybody? Cole here, aka Robots Are Art, editor of Mecha Alliance, coming to you guys this time with a full review of this awesome Blitzway Carbotix 5 Pro Studios Voltron, and doing something a little different this time. I normally do unboxing music videos, and for this one I figured I'd say a little something, because Voltron is something I know a little something about. I've been a fan ever since the show first aired in 1984, 1985, and couldn't get the toy until later in life. You know, it was $80 in 1985, and I had a single mom, and she could never buy this for me, but I have made up for it later in life. I've got over 50 in my collection, so I am the man to give you guys an analysis of this thing. I've got every Voltron out there, at least one version of just about everything. So Voltron is something I'm very familiar with. We're going to look at the fine details. We're going to look at the construction. We're going to look at the articulation. We are going to do some comparisons with other figures in my collection. So let's get into this. This 5 Pro Studio Voltron is pretty awesome overall. Not perfect, as you'll see as the review goes on, but definitely awesome. And I'll form the head. And let's take a look. Here it is in all its 15 inches of glory, 5.1 pounds, an absolute beast. Absolutely beautiful. Here we see the pilots included, all of them. This would have been a dream come true for me as a kid. I never would have imagined something on this scale. Absolutely breathtaking. We've got the sword and shield. He lights up. Full features like we haven't seen on any Voltron really that we're going to get into. But first, let's take a look at what I love about this figure. Well, there's the posability, which is amazing. You see the articulation throughout, and we'll get into that in a minute. But what I love about this is amazing to me. A figure this big, this complex with combination, and look at this structure. Never before seen. This shocked me. I never felt I would be able to take a robot of this size. You could never do this with an SoC. You could never do this with a Soul of Chogokin or a DX Soul of Chogokin. That's amazing. Let's look at the articulation. Head articulation's great. Be careful with the wires. There were a few reports early on of those coming loose and the eyes no longer lighting on the unit, so I'm not going to go crazy here with the head, but you see it has great articulation. Very nice indeed. We are going to take a look at the shoulder articulation. I wish those things tabbed in, but I think it's necessary to design it that way, because look at the deep articulation in the shoulders here and the wide. Amazing. You're going to see some incredible poses with this thing. It comes into play beautifully with Black Lion as well. Awesome joints for the shoulders at Black Lion, ratchets, as well as the connection point so he can reach for the sky. All the way. You can do all the poses you want with the blazing sword, two-handed, slashes, everything. Full ratcheted rotation at the upper arm shoulder. Ratchets in the elbows. Awesome. 360 swivel at the elbow, forearm. Full rotation in the lion's heads, of course. And yes, they bite, of course. Articulation point here. That comes into play with the lions, but also you can get some great two-handed sword poses with that. Ratcheted ab crunch, deep, strong ratchets. Beautiful. Love that sound. Extension in the waist comes into play for Black Lion transformation. Also, you can make him a little taller if you want him to top 15 inches. Swivel. Great articulation in the legs. He can kick that high forward. Rear range of motion. And what you're going to see is a mechanism, the hips pull down, allowing even further articulation. He'll do pretty much a split. Look at those awesome ratchets. Beautiful gold detailing, and there you see you can pull the hip down. That comes into play for Black Lion's transformation, but also you can hit some incredible poses with that, like I will show you guys momentarily. 360 swivel in the thigh, awesome. Totally solid, nothing feels like it's gonna break. Locking mechanism at the knee so he'll hold straight. Listen to those ratchets. There's that locking mechanism. Now my number 5 sticker has been peeling since day one. It worsens as the video goes on. You may not want to put the stickers on. Great articulation at the ankles. Beautiful die cast parts. Look at that detail work. Look at that plastic. Gorgeous. His feet are articulated. You see that sticker peel, unfortunately. And all that allows him to hit some pretty badass poses, as you guys will see here in a minute. Poses like this one. The Iron Man pose. Never thought I would be doing this with a 15-inch combiner, but I woke up and said, you know what? I'm gonna try and do the Iron Man pose with this thing, and it does it. Astonishing. Everything holds firmly. You see I've got one hip in, one hip out. I've got the shoulders fully articulated at the separation point. This thing does it all. Look at that pose. So awesome. Unlike anything I've seen. Another awesome pose he'll do. Screaming face in, the slash with blazing sword on the flight stand. Totally badass. And the flight stand, this is the best Voltron stand I've seen ever. It's awesome. It holds his weight. It plugs into his butt, but he looks just fine. It held him firm for several days while I had him in this. He was in my living room on the table. The kids bumped the table. He held firm on the flight stand. So there's nothing to worry about if you want to pose your Carbotix Voltron like this. I can't say I blame you. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. And something else he can do. This iconic pose, of course, gotta get him with the final in the air, blazing sword attack on the flight stand. Looking awesome. The articulation, the stiff structure, allow this thing to do any pose. And now we're gonna get a look with the lights out. You see, he does light up pretty good. The lights are difficult, I'm not gonna lie. Everything is fine on Black Lion, Blue Lion, Yellow Lion. Red and green are a pain in the ass. You have to insert a battery. And as we'll see, they're not the greatest. And but they are lights. It does light up. How often are you really going to use them? I don't know. But they look pretty cool. It could have been darker in the room. I filmed this in the day. But they do light up for the most part. You'll see it's not perfect here. But here we've got his alternate weapon, the twin spears. I've got them together here. Looking awesome. So posable. And look at the plastics. Look how vibrant. I have to say, a lot of people never thought Carbotix 5 Pro plastic could meet the quality standards of Bandai. I'm here to tell you that it is. It's gorgeous. It's a rich, deep color indicating high quality. I absolutely love the materials. It's heavy, heavier than just about anything in my collection. The plastics are solid. This robot does not feel fragile. One bit. Does not feel fragile at all. Had a great time making the video, putting it in all these poses. Nothing felt like it would break at any time. And here we have the lions. And I'm going to say these are the best lions I've handled. You know what? They're solid. They're gorgeous. They're so highly articulated. I kind of wish on some of them you can't push the lower part of the leg forward. It just straightens. I kind of wish you could do that with the articulation. But overall, the articulation is absolutely fantastic. The materials are wonderful. Look how shiny. Who wouldn't want to display this in their collection, I have to say. Pretty beautiful. And the stand is definitely the best we've seen. You know, I've got friends who are buying 2 of these simply for the reason that you can display it like they're flying up to form Voltron, which has never been available before. Look at that. Gorgeous. Now, you folks at home, unfortunately, may be wondering why I have the star cutter on the right side of the stand. Well, my blazing sword broke, and it broke for pretty much no reason, so I'm covering it up, and you won't be seeing the blazing sword again in this review. So be careful. All I was doing was putting it back in the box. I wrapped it up in the plastic. I heard something snap when I put it in, and apparently the plastic, I guess, grabbed the top part and it snapped. The handguard you see right here, it snapped right off. So be careful. That's unfortunate. I'm going to have to reach out to the company and get a replacement part. But the stand is awesome. Unlike anything we've seen before. I don't want to take away from the beauty of this stand with the unfortunate breaking of my blazing sword. Just be careful with that, guys. But these lions are so awesome. And check this out. Here they are all weaponed out. Look at that articulation. Look at these poses. How badass is that? These lions have everything. And some things I love are not only the plastic, the articulation. You see the shoulders, you see the feet, every last bit is articulated. The heads, the point where the shoulders meet the bodies, they can turn. The deep ab crunch in Black Lion. And they have pilots inside, which is such a nice touch. Nothing to lose here. They're always in there. You just have to open the cockpits. Take a look. There they are. There's a separate set. But these guys are always in here, so there's nothing to lose. Such a nice, wonderful touch. Absolutely awesome. I'm going to say overall, considering the size, the heft, the materials, how not fragile they feel. These are my favorite lions I've handled so far of any Voltron. I'm not going to lie. And yes, they have lights. Well, most of them do. Check it out. Green lion's asleep on the job. And you know what, guys? It's disappointing. I think it's just the battery, because in the Voltron scene where I had him formed with the lights on, I couldn't get the red line to light up. You have to put this stupid, skinny little battery down in his nose, in his brain. Give him a lobotomy. It's bananas to have to go through that. And on video day, I cannot get green line to light up. I'm going to chalk it up to the battery. And, you know, one more complaint. Check this out. That's silly. Limp, loose, little cannon on Yellow Lion. He looks awesome posed like this, just like in the directions. Guess what? That's the only way you can pose him with the weapons. Otherwise, his cannon is going to droop. I applied Kiki twice. It did nothing. But overall, I'll get a new battery. I'll probably never use the lights again. I'll get a new battery. But the lions are awesome. And here we have the 5 Pro Studio Voltron doing something unheard of for a robot, a combiner of this size. A high kick, doing something his DX brothers cannot. Bandai DX has always been unbelievable, but the figures do not have the stiff structure, the articulation to hold this pose. So I am incredibly impressed by the Blitzway Voltron. Looking awesome with the other DXs. Is it worth the money? Well, I'll tell you guys what. I paid $650 for DX Voltus 5 2 years ago. So I'd say the 5 Pro Studio Voltron is worth the money. There you see Heavy Metal Tetsujin 28. Out of the DXs, it is amazing to me. It's heavier. The plastics, look how bright. Even when compared to DX Combattler V, which is a gorgeous robot, I have to say the Blitzway Voltron shines. There you see the Mazinga DXs, along with Zero, Heavy Metal, and something a lot of people don't know. The original GoLion was supposed to be in the grand scale of the SG-01 Tetsujin 28, but it was not, because T28 was bigger than all the others, more expensive. It didn't sell well. So it is amazing to have Katsushi Murakami's original design realized. The GoLion was supposed to be the SG-02 Chokin Zoku number 2. It wasn't. It was in the GB series. So to have it realized in this grand scale is a dream come true for me. Never knew I could have it in this size. I absolutely love it. And here it is on display with some other Voltrons in my collection. How does it look? An absolute showstopper. Up there with the best, there's another one of the best to the right, the Icarus with the Mad Toys in lion form. Some of my favorites. How does the Blitzway match up as the all-time great Voltrons? How does it compare to the soul of Chogokin? Well, very well. But there are some things I still like on the SoC. I love Bandai's fine detail work. In the chest there, I love those panel lines. Those fine details are lacking on the Blitzway. I like the paneling in the legs. It looks great. But on the Blitzway, I love the gold rings on the side of Black Lion versus what the Bandai has with just the plain sort of yellowish plastic. They both look great. Sculpt-wise, I say they look fantastic. I always thought Bandai had the sculpt nailed. I always thought GoLion is a Popey thing. It's Japanese. But in the end, Voltron's an American property, and I think Blitzway's done a fabulous thing with the overall look and design, the aesthetic. It's muscular. It's updated. The legs are covered. Do I care about that? It's not a big deal for me. They're both awesome. You know, originally, GoLion was designed after the look of the toy, which had the legs, so the anime accuracy isn't that important to me. For me, the soul of Chogokin has kept more true to the look of the original GoLion. There you see to the right, my Godaiken GoLion, a dream come true for me. I always wanted a Voltron as a kid, and now I've got GoLions. It's unbelievable to me. So I still love, you know, look at the yellows on Yellow Lion. They're pretty similar. The coloring, the shading, the shape at the upper torso is pretty similar. So I think Bandai kept it similar. But I love the bright plastics of the Blitzway. I love the muscular sculpt. I do love the look of it. The size, You know what? It was always something I loved was 10.5 inch, 11 inch Voltron, GoLion, but this new size is awesome. It's what Katsushi Murakami and the designers at Popey originally envisioned for GoLion back in the early 80s, but Tetsujin didn't sell well, so that never happened. So this is a dream come true to have it in this size. Would I recommend this over the Soul of Chogokin? It is better, it is newer, it's twice as expensive. So taking all those things into account, personally I buy every Voltron, so it's a must buy for me. But if someone were to ask me, for my first Voltron, should I get the Blitzway or, should I get the GX71? Well, what I'm going to tell them is get a GX71 and get a vehicle Voltron for the same price. And if you like those Voltrons, definitely buy the Blitzway. It's not perfect. It has some issues. My blazing sword broke. That sucks. The Lion's cannon, the way it spins, that's silly. I put on 2 coats of Kiki, it does nothing. But it's still one of the greats. The lights, I could take or leave. Overall, the structure, the articulation, the posability, make it absolutely phenomenal to me. It's not perfect, but it's like buying a future model or something. You might find some little QC issues. It's a smaller company. But it's absolutely amazing. Is it a first Voltron? It might not be perfect. So maybe not a first Voltron, second Voltron? Yes. Absolutely. I love it. And if you've enjoyed this review, smash that like button, hit me up in the comments, follow Mecha Alliance because there's much more to come. Thank you for watching.